Hello, and welcome into the studios here at South Point Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. I am Frank Nicotero, and this is Punchlines with me, Frank Nicotero. Hearing a feedback on my voice there. Oh, I'm up on the TV. There we go. Anyway, welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you being here, watching it live here in the desert. It is high noon, and we have a great show for you guys. In about 10 minutes, a fellow Pittsburgher, Joe Bartnick, will be here. This guy is a very funny comedian. He's got a special he wants to talk about, and also he is a hockey expert, and you will see that knowledge live right here in about 10 minutes. I wanted to do a couple shout-outs for the people who have been doing live comments. I wanted to thank Minidar8908. She said, very entertaining. I like Frank and Alex's chemistry. So thank you very much for that. Listen, if you give us a comment in the section, live comment, we will shout it out the next day. Also, there's a Frank Murgy 3505. Let's go. Bury your man with today's tips, he said. All right, very good. It's actually Frank Murgy. He's one of my best friends. I acted like I didn't know how to pronounce his name. All right, like I said, today on the show, Joe Bartnick will be here in about 10 minutes to talk hockey. And in 30 minutes from Sports by the Book, the original host of the shows here on South Point, Jeff Parles will be here. Jeff's an amazing guy. We're going to talk football. We're going to get you ready for the weekend. And as always, our producer, Ryan McCormick, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan, there's Ryan McCormick.
Somebody has a bet to pay
to
up
the
on.
show. What's that, Ryan?
I said somebody has a bet to pay up on.
Now, if you're regular viewers of the show, we appreciate it. We've done 2 episodes. We hope you are a regular. Remember, hit subscribe right there. Hit subscribe. Come back. We made a wager yesterday, Ryan. I don't remember what the wager was. It was something on the Penguins Blackhawks game last night. What was the wager?
So I had the Blackhawks either winning or Connor Bedard to have 2 points.
Which he only had 1 point. Connor only had 1 point.
Yep.
I didn't see the final score. What happened?
So the Penguins were up 2-0.
That's when I turned it off. We were up 2-0. Game over. All right,
and
great.
And then I was sweating a little bit, and the Hawks scored.
They
Connor
did.
Bedard
Okay, so
got
2-1
his first
final.
assist.
All right, let's get to Frank's takes, right? No?
Bedard got his first assist on that first point.
Oh,
so I was a little more comfortable. We could lose, but he just needed one more point.
Okay.
And then the Hawks proceeded to score 3 more goals and won 4-2.
So what was the bet if the Blackhawks should win the game? Penguins were minus 250. They were favorites. What was the bet?
I brought you a jersey to wear today.
All right, bring it in, Ryan. Here we go. Let's go to fast takes right now because the first one is Chicago. No! Chicago, no! Bring it in. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in my career, for my first time in my life, I am now going to put on a different sweater other than a Penguins. I've never worn a non-Steeler jersey or a non-Pirate shirt. Oh, my God. Who do we have here? Sharp?
Patrick Sharp.
Oh, yeah, Patrick Sharp. He's the best. So get your cameras ready, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. All right. I am now wearing a Chicago. I'm a man of my word. Here we go. Frank Nicotero in a Chicago Blackhawks sweater.
Looks great, doesn't it?
Joe Bartnick's going to die when he sees this. He's going to be like, what are you doing? It doesn't look right, but red is a good color on me. It looks pretty good, right? All right, so by the way, Connor Bedard, that kid looks like he's 12. His parents dropped him off before the game.
18
years old. Forgot his stick. He almost forgot his stick getting to the ice, right?
Well, so I heard it's his superstition to leave his stick toe up on the wall, and he couldn't find it. And so he had to just completely get a new one.
And that's why he only got 1 point. Well, they play tonight against Boston, so maybe if it's toe up, he might score his first goal tonight against Boston. Right now, the line is the Bruins minus 330 here at South Point and plus 270 on Chicago playing a back-to-back. And they're in Chicago, so it's the home opener. What do you think? Might put a little money on that?
I don't know. It's going against the President's Trophy winners. Yeah. So that's going to be a tough
and the Bruins they're mad.
But that jersey has a story. So that was my first hockey game.
Okay.
I got it at the Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals in 2013.
All right.
The Blackhawks were playing the Bruins.
Right.
That was the triple overtime game.
Yeah.
My dad and I flew out there that day. We went to the game. We were there for the 7 hours that the game was, and we got White Castle at 2 a.m. after the fact.
It smells like White Castle, by the way. I noticed, yes.
Great memory.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Connor Bedard, 18 years. Did we roll fast takes? Are we doing the graphic? Do we want the graphic for Frank's
I think
Fast?
We got it.
Yeah, we got it? All right, good. I just wanted to point out, Connor Bedard was born, there we go, We're still on Chicago. No, because I have to wear this jersey. Connor Bedard, born in 2005. That's the same year YouTube was founded. Which, by the way, YouTube, we thank you. You're watching us live on YouTube right now. The Xbox 360, The Office premiered in 2005. That's what she said. And Holla Back Girl was your favorite song in 2005, wasn't it, Ryan?
Also, shout out my little brother. He was born in 2005.
That is bananas. Bananas. All right, let's go on to hot take number 2. Powerball fever, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, Powerball tonight. Ryan, what do we have it at? It's at 1.7.
So it's at $1.73 billion.
Billion dollars. The cash value is about $756 million. Your odds of winning are 1 in 292 million, which are the same odds that I thought the Penguins losing would be last night, and I wouldn't have to wear this jersey covering up a Pittsburgh Steelers shirt. I can't believe I'm going to do it, but and I wanted to play Powerball while I'm here in Nevada, but guess what? There's no lottery in Nevada.
Not allowed.
I guess there's enough gambling here in Nevada. You don't have to play Powerball. But, when I was a kid, and anytime you're young and you hear about these big jackpots, you think, oh, man, if I hit the Powerball, I'm going to buy jet skis. I'm going to get video games in my house. I'm going to get a golden tea machine, and I'm going to buy the Pirates. That was always my fantasy, was to buy the Pirates. But even if I won this thing, because the take-home pay after taxes is like, it's like $570 million, I read.
It's 756.
That's the cash value, but I'm talking after taxes. After taxes, it's only like $500 million. So I thought, could I buy the Pirates? No, the Pirates are actually valued at $1.32 billion, so I couldn't even buy the Pirates. The Marlins are the lowest baseball franchise at $1 billion. But of the 4 major sports, Ryan, there is one franchise valued at $450 million that I could buy if I win and I take the cash value. I could buy this franchise. Trivia for you. Who is it? Who's the least valuable? And I'll tell you right now, it's in the NHL.
Yeah, I would think NHL.
Figured, yeah.
Either the Anaheim Ducks, even though it's a Southern California team.
That's good, but you got to think the real estate alone is worth a lot of money, right?
All right, so 2 other guesses.
Think desert.
Arizona Coyotes.
There you go. Nice job. They are worth $450 million. So I could buy the Arizona Coyotes and still have $100 million left. That's the only franchise you can buy. All right, going on next to Frank's take number 3. Silly Philly. Yeah. So we've all watched Eagles games. We saw them in the Super Bowl, the tush push, right? This is where if it's 4th and short, they get up to the line. Kelsey's the center, right? They get super low. They get low, and they rush in underneath the defense, and they get this yard every time. The NFL thought about outlawing this. They thought about getting rid of it, right?
Yep.
But they didn't, so they're still doing it. So my thing is, I think that they have to change the name every week, all right? We've heard the tush push, and we've heard the brotherly shove. But I want new names, all right? Each week they have to change the name, so I came up with a couple. The backside glide. What do you think of that? Backside glide?
Backside glide.
It's not bad because they're gliding underneath.
Yeah.
The 2-cheek sneak, right? Because quarterback starts underneath, 2 cheeks. Jalen Hurts right there. These, by the way, I'm giving these out to media for free. Also, handy on DeFanny, because you're handy on the
What about the bum scrum?
I love bum scrum. See, every week it has to change, and I have one more. The derriere carrier. Because, right? The derriere carrier. By the way, the Phillies and Jets. The Phillies, 7-point favorites against the Jets, 41.5. I think they're going to, we'll talk with Jeff. Jeff's coming in about that. We'll talk football. But anyway, so Silly Philly got to change. One last fast take before we get Joe Bartnick in here. The Texas Creators. Are you, by the way, I had 2 winners last night. I had tweeted out the Rangers. I like the Texas Rangers at home. And Corey Seager. I took Corey Seager. Prop bet that I got somewhere else in town. I got a 1.5 total bases in his first inning at bat. Corey Seager hit a home run. So
4 of them.
What's that? Boom.
4 total bases.
4 total bases in one swing. Boom. I was driving around Vegas. I'm like, boom. That's the best bet when you cash a winner right on the first at bat. Corey Seager, who is a postseason god, right? So I'm going to do that. Now, here's the thing about the Texas Rangers. Their fans were chanting last night, bring on the Astros, right? They want the Astros bad, and I think they're going to get them, right?
Show who runs Texas.
What's that?
You got to show who runs Texas.
Who runs Texas, man? It's going to be the shootout in Texas. That's going to be amazing. But here's the thing why I love the Rangers. When I was a kid, my dad always liked the Texas Rangers because he was a big cowboy movie fan. So I can root for Texas. I like the Baby Blues. Al Oliver, a former Pirate, played there. But the team has been inspired by the band Creed. Ryan, have you seen this? They're singing Higher right now, right? And they're tweeting at the band Creed, who's gotten together for the first time since like 2012. They're going to be doing a summer tour next year. It's going to sell out. Here's some footage right there. There it is. So look at that. Scott Stapp, the lead singer, Let's Go Rangers, let's go. You can see right there. This is what's inspired Texas. And when teams have a song, they usually end up winning. Listen to the crowd. Can you take me? My God, bring Scott Stapp in right now to sing the national anthem against the Astros game 1. Would that be a Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? That wasn't a bad Scott Stapp impression, was it?
That was actually pretty good.
All right, that's it for Frank's Fast Takes. Let's get to my man and bring him in here right now. This guy, this is kind of crazy. Joe and I got to put my cans on. Joe and I, that's right, I said cans, Bob Del Pizzo. That's a radio term. Joe Bartnick and I have never met. We met over some live things on COVID, some podcasts, but he is from Pittsburgh, ladies and gentlemen, and he is here live. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome funny man and puck expert Joe Bartnick to the show. Joe, what's going on? There he is, Joe.
What's up, Frank? How you doing?
Joe, you have the most glorious mustache. This guy's amazing. He's hysterical, and he's a hockey expert. I don't know if you heard the beginning of the show, but I had a bet last night with Ryan, our producer, who is a diehard Blackhawks fan. And I thought the Penguins were a guaranteed win, Joe. I said, if they lose, Ryan proposed you have to wear a jersey. Look at this. I've never worn another sweater in my life, Do we have any pictures of me? What would it look like if I had to wear, if like the Steelers lost a game? What would we have? Do we have anything?
I think we've got the Ravens.
Let's see. Oh, you do not. They have me in a Ravens jersey, Joe. Let's see it. What would I look like in a Ravens jersey, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah. Do we have that? We'll
Possibly.
get to it. There. Oh, my God, Joe, look at that. That is me swirling the terrible Oh, you guys used Ray Lewis. Oh my God, you used Ray Lewis. Okay.
That's like your jail picture right there.
Look at that. Wearing a Ravens jersey.
We've got another special one for you.
You have another. Oh wait, Joe, they have one more. I'm sorry. Let's see. What else do you have? What the hell? Is that a French maid's outfit?
Yep.
That I feel like I pull off. You know why? Because it has the Pittsburgh up top, Joe, right? It's sexy because it's a French maid, but it's not bad.
Very Halloween-y.
There you go. Hey, it's less than a month away. Joe, let's talk about last night's game. What did you think of the Penguins? This is a problem they've had. Early leads and then blowing it, right? What's your take on this?
Yeah, we're up 2-0. It seemed like last year and just gave away the lead, and stupid penalties, not penalties of aggression, penalties of laziness. You can't give a team that's struggling 4 power plays. They're going to find their legs, and you're never going to get to your game. And then the only team Mrazek can beat is the Penguins. Mrazek would be a Hall of Famer if he got to play the Penguins every night.
Unbelievable. It's brutal. And the only good thing about last night's game was the crowd there were chanting Fire Canada. Did you hear that? Fire Canada.
I'm not into cross-pollination. When you're at the hockey game, you're a hockey fan. When it's a Steeler game, it's a Steeler game.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Joe. So Connor Bedard last night, what did you think of his first NHL game? By the way, the ref, I can't remember his name, but how great was that? Welcome to the NHL before he drops the puck. Crosby versus Bedard.
It was fantastic, and I thought it was a pretty well refereed game, which I don't say very often, especially in the NHL. He looked right in place. His speed is evident, not even speed, quickness. And let's face it, he took a forearm shiver, Road Warrior Animal style from Noah Chari, who's a big boy, and he bounced right back up. No problem. He's short in stature, but he's got, that Sidney Crosby kind of, big legs, big forearms. He's hockey strong. He's got a wicked shot. And I think he's going to do a lot of damage for the next 20 years. And his biggest muscle is his brain. He's a smart kid. He knows how to, he's just a mature kid at 18. I love everything about him.
That's great. And he's great for the game. So that's exciting. And then Chicago has a back and back. They play tonight, their home opener against the Boston Bruins, who have to be a little angry at the way their season ended, their historic season last year. Currently, Boston is favored minus 330 here at the South Point Casino, which is right behind me. So you can get the Blackhawks plus 270. Back to back for Connor. Do you think he scores tonight?
He's going to he will at least get an assist. I mean, a goal, I don't know. Goals are not, they're easy to come by sometimes, but sometimes you're in a drought. I would take They're in Chicago. I actually like Chicago tonight. I think they're going to be living on adrenaline.
Yeah. Okay.
If it was in Boston, I would take Boston.
Exactly. So let's and real quick, the Blackhawks season total points over is 71.5. And Ryan, you bet the Connor Bedard over for points is also 71.5. Yeah. Do you like Bedard's getting over 71.5 points this season, Joe?
I like both overs in that situation.
Okay. Well, there you go, guys. There's a tip from Joe. So, Joe, I know, listen, could you tell everybody about you? By the way, you can follow Joe on social media. What's your social media handle? It's
I'm Joe Bartnick everywhere except on Instagram because I was hacked 3 ways from Sunday. And there I'm Mr. Joe Bartnick.
That's so much more official, Mr. Joe Bartnick. Now tell everybody about this article you posted, which was so informative. And if you really want some insight to hockey, and if you're a bettor, you can look at some of his predictions, which we'll get to. But Joe, tell everybody where they can find that article.
I'm a staff writer for the Pro Hockey News, and every year I write my division previews. So we have 4 division previews out, and then I also have a season preview for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They've all been published in the last week. If you go to prohockeynews.com, they're all there.
All right, I'm going to go there. Now, do you have a few for us? I know you have some over totals, so why don't you hit us with what you were thinking? For all our bettors here at South Point, listen up. Here we go.
For the over, I said I like Chicago. I really like the Buffalo Sabres over 92.5.
Okay.
I think they're going to make the playoffs for the first time in a long time up there in Buffalo. And with Tampa Bay losing Vasilevsky, I think there's a good chance for him to be in second place. Although Johansson played great in net last night for Tampa, I just like 92.5 for Buffalo. And then an under in that same division, I don't see the Florida Panthers, the Big Cats, getting to 98.5.
Okay. I mean, they barely got into the playoffs. It was the Penguins kind of let them in the door, right? On the last day of the season. And they went far, but so under 98.5, yeah, I mean, they barely made it last year.
Well, the thing was that Matthew Tkachuk just, carried them the last 3 months of the season. And I never want to deny a Tkachuk anything, but I just don't see him doing that again. And remember, Bobrovsky, he plays good every other year. So this year's his off year. And I don't like what they did on this summer. Some of their defensemen are dinged up. They let Radek Gudas, Dr. Evil go to Anaheim, and they replaced him with a bunch of slugs. I just kind of don't like the mix right now in Florida. They let Duclair go to San Jose. I think 98.5 is a big number for Florida to get to.
Okay, and didn't Buffalo, we wish them luck because they gave us Tom Barrasso, didn't they? Isn't that where we got Barrasso from?
Absolutely, they gave us Tom Barrasso.
So we can root for
We're kind of kindred spirits too, Pittsburgh, Buffalo. It's kind of the same kind.
Yeah.
We're always 1 and 2 in hockey television ratings, no matter where our teams are at.
Yeah, that's true.
We're hockey towns.
We're hockey towns. All right, and then you have some division predictions as well, I believe, right?
Well, a couple of things I liked here. I liked Tampa Bay at 9-2. And I liked Buffalo at 15-2, just in case there's any kind of sluggishness out of Toronto. I think Buffalo at 15-2 and Tampa Bay at 9-2 is a good bet. Just the way if Johansson can hold the ship, the metaphor to use, if he can hold keeping water out of the boat until Vasilevsky gets back, I think they're in good shape.
Will Toronto ever win a Stanley Cup in our lifetimes? Are they just cursed? What do you think?
They're cursed until they get someone that can play defense that plays defenseman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They just never get their, I'm trying to think of a name right now. It's escaping me. Like if they would have drafted Rasmus Dahlin, let's say the young kid that's now playing in Buffalo, or if they would have Mo Seider, the kid in Detroit right now, they just need a young number 1 defenseman that can move the puck and lay the wood.
Yeah, there you go. And now you also have a Stanley Cup prediction. I've been saving this for last before we start talking about stand-up. What's your prediction for the Stanley Cup? The Golden Knights here. Last night, by the way, did the Golden Knights not have the most amazing ceremony last night? The sword out of the stone, the Stanley Cup. I know hockey purists probably didn't like it, but here in Vegas, we like to go big.
I'm a hockey purist who also loves entertainment. And I think everything Vegas does is pretty cool, except the way they treated Marc-Andre Fleury.
Right.
I got to throw that in there.
Yeah, it's the flower. I know. You're exactly. And he's still I still saw a ton of jerseys yesterday. I saw Fleury jerseys everywhere. Look at me in this Chicago. Anyway, but
Well, I mean, it's hard to throw away a $175 jersey. You're gonna wear it no matter what.
Exactly. So who do you like for the Stanley Cup?
Well, who I actually think is going to win is the Colorado Avalanche, because I think they're the best team in hockey and they're going to get their captain back. But for the sake of betting,
yes,
I think
we like betting.
Great shot is the Dallas Stars at 15-1.
All right. 15-1. Yeah, that's worth throwing a few bucks on. Why Dallas?
I think they have the second most talented roster in the West after Colorado. And I think that if Ottinger just kind of did not he got tired last year at their great goaltender. I think if he can have a bounce back postseason, I think they have the perfect mix of old black bananas and young green bananas. The deadline, they make a move, get one, like every team kind of does, get maybe a couple more, quality defensemen. I think they're right there in the mix if anybody stumbles. And at 15-1, that's where you're going to be making some hay.
I like it. Tell me about those pictures you have behind you. What are those signed? What are some of your Penguin stuff behind you there?
Oh, that is, there's Mario there. There's Gino there. And the one you can't see is my Lemieux signed jersey, which is the one thing besides my dogs I would grab in a fire.
Now, did you meet Mario when he signed it, or did you just buy that off the internet or something?
This is well, I did his benefit one year.
Oh, wow.
The three most nerve-wracking nights of my life, and I got to say, knock on wood, I killed all three, because when the pressure's down, it's like game 7 of stand-up, was when I played Madison Square Garden in the round.
Oh, my God.
With Bill Burr.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
My stand-up special, which I'm trying to plug, and Mario's for the Mayor Lemieux Foundation, I did his benefit, and there was like 45 Stanley Cup rings in the room.
Wow.
And I don't mean like the assistant to the trainer. I mean like Trottier,
wow.
Just the big boys were there, Recchi, and it was great time. And then he came over, and he couldn't have been any more gracious. He's the best. He's the best. And then just as our buddy, our mutual friend Bill Crawford said, just as when the glow of when you just finally started forgetting that was the greatest moment of your life, a month later, FedEx comes in the mail with that jersey with a note from Lemieux, like, thanks for a great evening.
You weren't even expecting it?
No.
Are you?
It was a thank you for doing the show.
Oh my God, that is the best story ever! Wow, were you crying? I have a feeling you were crying.
I was pretty. Yeah, I think I was just in shock. I thought I went to heaven. I thought someone shot me in the back of the head. Like, I'm in heaven.
Well, thank God they did. Now, you mentioned playing Madison Square Garden. That's unbelievable. I know you're tight with Bill Burr. You do some shows. Tell us about Madison Square Garden. How many people were there? How that went?
It was sold out. It was in the round, which I didn't know it was going to be in the round until that day. So that was an extra level of just nerve. I was nervous for 6 months thinking about it. And then we get there, and it's in the round. And I don't know if you know Club Soda Kenny. He's like, oh, why are you nervous? I'm like, I didn't know we were in the round. And Bill gave me the best piece of advice. He goes, just treat it like 4 different theaters. Just go each way. Best advice. I saw everybody twice around, and it was to get to hockey with his. They didn't know the plywood out, so I was going in between the ply with my fingers before the show and touching the ice. And Kenny's like, "Why are you doing that?" I go, "Mario Lemieux played on this ice."
This is Mario.
Everybody knows to bring it. I mean, Mario is standing in the garden when he came back from cancer. So, and you're just thinking, that's Ali Frazier. That's WrestleMania 1. It doesn't get bigger than this. And then right before I was back in the green room section, they have all these pictures of all these different bands. And then, you're Italian, Frank, I'm Italian. The best is right by the dressing room. There's a picture of Frank in his big tux. And it just says Sinatra in the round. And it's like, it's time to kill. And I usually just run up on stage. I don't take the time. But that last second when my music was playing before I stepped on stage, I treated it like the astronaut stepping on the moon. Like, remember this moment.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not selling out the Garden. Oh, thank God for Bill Burr. but it's like that was just incredible.
That's amazing. And what's your walk-up? Do you have walk-up music, or what do you got?
Why have I Shoot the Thrill by AC/DC?
You know what? You can never go wrong with AC/DC as walk-up music. That is the best. Someone asked me recently in baseball, we were watching a baseball game. They're like, if you had a walk-up song, what would it be? And I don't know why immediately I went with Big Shot by Billy Joel. I just feel like the opening around, and you come up and you're Big Shot and you just look around. I think that would be a pretty good.
That's a great one.
That's a good one, right?
Billy
Joel? Ryan,
that's a great one.
Ryan, our producer, do you have a walk-up song? Just imagine you're playing baseball or you're about to hit the ice. Maybe your favorite band. What would you have as a walk-up song, Ryan?
Probably something rap.
Some rap. All right, some hardcore rap. There you go. All right, you know what? The look of you, Ryan, we've just gotten to know you. I don't know if I would have went gangster rap for you, Ryan, but you have like a little, just like a little NWA or some Cube or something, or Ice-T. Okay. Yeah. All right, and you just come. Let me see how you walk out. Let me see you walking up to the plate.
It depends.
Okay.
Like I'll drag the bat or something, you know.
Like a weapon, like you're just bringing it, like a club, like you're ready to hit it.
Like the Grim Reaper.
There you go. I like it. All right, Joe, you were talking about your special. I want to hear about your special. Tell us where you shot it and where people can find it, because Joe is very funny. By the way, Joe and I have never met in person. We're from Pittsburgh. We have tons of mutual friends, Aaron Kleiber, Bill Crawford. We have a lot of mutual friends. We haven't met. We will someday, maybe when you come to Vegas or I come to Pittsburgh. But tell us about your special, man. This is very exciting.
Oh, absolutely. I'm definitely going to hang out with you in Vegas. I mean, it's great. You have a residency in Vegas. That's my dream.
Come on out. I'll get you a room and a buffet. We got you hooked up.
Oh, my God. Living in sports. I mean, there's nothing funner than hanging out in a sports book all day, like college football Saturday.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I sleep on the counter right there. It's open 24 hours, and I sleep. That first chair, I like that one. I've napped there, and then in the middle of the night. Yeah, it's amazing, man. This place is electric. Tomorrow night for Thursday Night Football, it'll be great. And baseball today, too. The Phillies Braves game, which is like an hour after we wrap here, it's going to be packed. So anyway, tell us about your special.
Okay. Well, I shot it in Chicago at the Den Theater, which is a great theater, and we did 2 shows and sold out both shows. And I bring a good crowd. They broke the liquor record.
I do. I think it's Pittsburgh comics, man. Do you drink on stage? Do you have a beer on stage? Because
I like to have a few pops.
Yes,
nothing wrong with a few pops.
When I started playing, when I was doing all the clubs, when I first started, and I finally turned 21 in clubs, I would drink a beer on stage and the liquor sales would go through the roof. And if you do a shot, club owners love that. You do a beer or a shot, they love that. But where can we find this special? Because I got to check it out.
It's on All Things Comedy's YouTube page.
Oh, wow.
So so it's free. Enjoy. And beginning, you're going to love. It's an old school take on the 70s detective shows.
I love that. By the way, me and my friend in LA, we watch Matt Houston together. Christian, we watch Matt Houston. We watch old like Barnaby Jones. We watch old detective stuff like that. So this is perfect.
It's all I watch. Barnaby Jones, Kojak, The Untouchables. It's the best.
I love it. And Joe, you're the best for coming on. You're our hockey guy, man. Thank you for the predictions. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate the time. Joe Bartnick, make sure you check out his special. It's on YouTube. You're on YouTube now. Subscribe to us. Subscribe to Joe. Joe, thank you so much. We'll see you out here in Vegas.
Frank, let's go Pens.
Let's go Pens. All right, we'll be right back after this break. Jeff Parles will be here right after this break. Thank you. Joe, excellent job, brother.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside. Or maybe you're in the mood for seafood. Big Sur Oyster Bar has fresh seafood prepared right before your eyes. Savor freshly shucked oysters, crab legs jambalaya, shrimp and lobster. Beers on tap and a selection of fine wines are perfect to pair with your seafood favorite. Whether lunch or dinner, you'll love this fun atmosphere, located just off the casino floor. Ready to shake things up? Step back in time and treat yourself to one of the oldest restaurant chains in the country. Steak and Shake, famous for original mouth-watering steak burgers and hand-dipped milkshakes in a variety of flavors. For some old-fashioned fun, try Steak and Shake.
Welcome back to Punchlines. I'm Frank Nicotero. I hope you enjoyed that spot. We were just talking about how that's a Steak and Shake. There's a Steak and Shake in the South Point. There's 11 restaurants, but the Steak and Shake, and by the way, I have a drink from the Steak and Shake, the Coke Zero. They have Coke Zero over there. I'm going to take a sip on camera. I need a little caffeine. And it matches this jersey that I've been forced to wear, Jeff.
Got an ice.
The Penguins, last night, I thought for sure that was a lock. And I made a bet. I said, sure, I'll wear a jersey of a team that I absolutely hate. Although I believe we won the Stanley Cup in '91 against Ed Belfour and the Chicago. I think we skunked you guys 4-0.
I wasn't alive.
You weren't alive. That's always. And neither was our next guest. Listen, I feel bad. I'm sitting in his chair. He's usually in this chair. Host of Sports by the Book is Jeff Parles. Jeff is here, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff, thank you for being here. Is it weird playing this direction now?
Now, you know what? I'm used to it because the previous owners the previous tenants of this studio,
Right, yes.
I was in this chair a lot.
Okay.
So I'm used to it. It's been a little bit of a while. And also, too, I'm looking at a different set of hair.
Yeah.
We obviously, Vinny Magliulo
Vinny's
has the best hair in the entire world. Your hair is pretty good, though,
It's
Frank.
not bad. I mean, it cost me a few bucks. We don't really need to get into that. But, yeah. Think I'm kidding. But, yeah, well, thank you. I mean, this is exciting. I keep talking about it all week. I mean, this is the season for gambling. You have everything.
Good.
I mean, preseason basketball is even starting. I mean, I don't know if anyone watches this.
Did you have Real Madrid yesterday against the Dallas
I
Mavericks?
did not. I did
I'm
not.
surprised at that, Frank.
I was focused on the Penguins and I was focused on the Texas Rangers and Corey Seager, which actually worked out. But I'd love to talk baseball. Baseball, I played in high school and I got kicked off the team because I was a comedian. The guy said, "You're distracting the team with jokes." And I was like, I should be a comedian. And I was only 125 pounds and couldn't hit, but I could field. But anyway, huge game. I mean, I grew up hating the Phillies. They were in the National League East. Okay, so they were a natural enemy. Now we're not in the same division with them. The Pirates are not very good. They don't spend any money. I have yet to attend a game in Philadelphia, but that home field advantage in Philadelphia, it makes for great TV too. These people never stop screaming and making noise. So the Phillies, after that great ending to the game the other night, they have a home game against the Braves. What do you think?
So Bryce Elder, Aaron Nola, your pitching matchup.
I
First
know.
off, you're right. It baseball venues don't pop through the television screen very
Right.
often. It did last night in Texas.
Yeah.
That crowd was on fire with the Rangers, of course, steamrolling the 101 win Orioles out of the postseason. Orioles hadn't been swept in a year and a half, and of course they get swept in the playoffs because go figure, baseball makes a whole lot of sense. Braves are a small underdog today. Not a surprise with Nola going. Frank, I said this to Vinny when we knew the matchup. That I thought these were the two best teams in baseball going into this series, and we get them in a best of 5, and they happen to be in the same division. And the first two games haven't disappointed.
Oh my God!
And if you're a Philly fan, I grew up in northern New Jersey. My parents now live in South Jersey. The good friends of mine are on radio in Philadelphia as well. So talking with them, like they're not winning. The Braves aren't winning the game in Philly.
I know.
They are so confident that the Phillies are going to do what they did last year and win those 2 home games at Citizens Bank Park like they did against Atlanta a year ago. I agree with them.
Yeah.
I think the Phillies are going to win today with Nola. Nola was great in the wild card series against Arizona, against Miami, I should say. Again, that was a little bit of a mismatch anyway, Philly and Miami, but regardless. But I think it's a good price. You keep open minus 126 now to minus 120. I think it's a pretty reasonable price on Nola at home with the Phils to go up 2-1.
And the way that game ended the other night was
dramatic.
It's the only time it's ever happened, I think, with 2 outs where it's ended on an outfield assist like that.
A 5-2-3 double play, which you don't. Excuse me, 8-5-3. Excuse me,
Yeah,
8-5-3. No,
Unbelievable.
There's no catcher involved.
I know.
8-5-3.
He was backing up the throw
First time ever that's happened in the postseason period. Forget any game.
Yeah.
First time that combination has ever put together a double play.
That might be a good number to play back east in Pittsburgh. I see when you grow up in Pittsburgh, anytime someone mentions a good 3-digit number, you should play that in the lottery tonight. That's the kind of family I grew up in. Oh, that's a good number. You could play it legally, or there was also a guy in the corner at Al Dundee's Pizza, which no longer exists, so statute of limitations, I can say this. You could do illegal numbers. 853 might be a good number to play. And the Braves total, the Braves total is, or the Phillies total is 4.5 runs.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm a prop guy. I know that's not what you're supposed to. I like props. I like betting the props. I won last night here on a prop. So I don't know. I like the Phillies to get at least 4.5 runs, maybe.
I would not bet the under. Let's just go with that. I would not bet the under in this game.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting, and just the atmosphere. If you're not a baseball fan, or if you're not a fan of the Phillies or Braves, you still should watch this game because it is just, I grew up hating the Phillies. I hated Mike Schmidt and Greg Luzinski and, all Steve Carlton always beat the Pirates. So I'm actually kind of a Phillies fan because I can't root for the Braves. Still, I'm still bitter.
Bitter about
1992, man. Sid Bream, an ex-Pirate chugging around the bay. Van Slyke tells Bonds, come on, move in a little. Bonds didn't. Should have had him at the plate. There was a guy in a Braves jersey out here right now. I still have flashbacks. I still have flashbacks of 1992. Probably the worst loss in my life as a sports fan watching the play.
I believe it because...
Now, wait, tell us your teams, by the way.
I'm a Met and a Jet fan, so this series is my personal hell because it's the two teams in the NL East, and it's, again, dealing with Philadelphia fans all my life. But I have a mutual respect for Philly fans because they get a lot of garbage from people. Oh, they're jerks. No, they're passionate sports fans. May they be a little bit jerky? Yeah, they might be, but that's okay. We need a little bit of that in our sports fans. And look, for the Braves are just they tortured my childhood.
Yeah,
I tortured my teenage years, my early 30s, late 20s.
Right.
Especially last year where the Mets controlled that division all year long, and then the Braves sweep them in the next to last series of the year, and then the Mets. I mean, none of those 100-win teams made it out of the division series.
That's crazy, isn't that? Yeah, I know. Wow. The other game. What are the other two games? Baseball today. We have the Dodgers. I want to talk about. Look at this. If you look at the board, this is so frightening to me to see the Dodgers as the biggest long shot. They're now 18-1 to win the World Series. They're down 2 games to love, and they look bad, man. I knew their pitching was thin. Like I knew they had hitters, but I think Betts and Freddie are like 1 for 13. I mean, they're just not. They're not getting the production. They were overpowering teams at the end of the year, and now the pitching. I mean, you lose Kershaw and Miller in the first. This is brutal, man. So I don't know. I can't bet the Dodgers tonight, and seeing them as 18-1 is frightening.
I would definitely not take that future. I don't think they're coming back.
Yeah.
The question going into the series was, can the Dodgers starting pitching hold up? And it has not, obviously.
Right.
And we knew the Diamondbacks, at least with those top 2 arms, that those guys are really, really good at the front end. And we've seen, Gallen fought his way through game 2, got Betts and Freeman out in a huge spot in the 5th inning, really. The moment of the game, even though I know the Dodgers had them loaded the next inning and the Diamondback bullpen got out of it, but it's the two of the 4 best players in baseball. I did bet Arizona before the series in this series, so there's really not much for me to do here. I do like the Dodgers tonight. I do think
they get one, right?
I think they do have a starting pitching advantage tonight.
Is Lance Lynn pitching tonight?
It is.
Okay.
It is.
Even though his ERA is over 5, the guy's he's been around. He's crafty.
He has more playoff experience. Fott got away with not pitching particularly great in Milwaukee. They won that game. That was kind of the moment you knew that the Brewers were in trouble when they won the game with their 4th best starting pitcher going. But I don't mind the Dodgers on a short price tonight. Looks like minus 125 behind us, which is as good as you're going to do in the market.
Yeah.
I don't mind that on LA tonight at all. And then the other game, I don't have a play on this one, Frank, with the Astros and the Twins. The Twins fans have been so tortured. Obviously, they finally snapped that losing streak.
Yeah.
That dated back to
18 games in a row.
Yeah, 19 years, 18 games. I would like to see them force a game 5. Make the Astros sweat a little bit.
Yeah,
here.
I would too. I liked when I was a kid. I liked Kent Herbeck.
Yes, there you go.
Herbie Puckett, Gary Gaetti. I liked the Twins, and I liked the Homer hanky because it was like a terrible towel. And, they won the series in 87-91, I think, 87-91.
Yep.
They were just fun to watch. They were fun teams. So I had a thing for the Twins. So I would like to see this because I think, aren't we just tired of the Houston Astros? My apologies to Sean Salisbury, who was our guest yesterday, who loves the Astros, but I'm just tired of seeing the same teams.
You know, it's kind of amazing with the Astros because they went under 500 at home this year.
Yeah,
Good teams don't have losing records at home.
Yeah.
And the Astros still won 90 despite going underwater
Oh my God.
at home. It's just kind of a testament to, take this one from the city of Houston, the old Rudy Tomjanovich quote, never underestimate the heart of a champion. That's kind of what this is with the Astros, even with all the cheating nonsense that happened with their first title. But they win it last year. They're back in it again.
Yeah.
They're going to be the betting favorites to win the American League. If they win this series, they'll be a favorite over Texas.
You think they'll be, even though Texas is red hot?
They should be. They should be a favorite in that series. It may not a big favorite, but they should be a favorite in that series against Texas. I do. And again, baseball home field doesn't matter too much.
Right.
But this one will matter.
Okay.
That home field advantage in Houston, I think, would matter against Texas.
All right. Let's move on. Let's get to football.
Yes, please.
Come on. Yes, please. I know. Do you want to do college? You want to do pros? What do you want to talk about?
Wherever you want to go.
Let's do the Thursday night matchup.
Please.
I know a lot of people have been commenting on social media. They love hearing about the NFL. They love hearing about Thursday. So tomorrow night we have the Broncos and the KC Chiefs. It's at 11 right now, I see on the sheet, but you might have an update.
10.5.
10.5. All right, so it's gone down to 10.5. The Chiefs always have these big lines. They always suck in. Mahomes lays down on the 2 and screws you. But what do you think about Thursday night football? The Broncos, is it hard? It's hard to bet the Broncos, but I know it's a lot of points in a division game.
So Travis Kelce is questionable.
Right.
George Karlaftis, Tommy Townsend, the punter. Tommy Townsend, really good punter.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Questionable, but it looks like the Chiefs are going to get back Nick Bolton, who is their best tackler by a wide margin, a big middle linebacker out of Missouri.
Mizzou.
I will say this, Frank. Yeah, I watched that whole game because I'm a Jet fan. I watched Denver all of last week. It is amazing how bad of a job Sean Payton's done, and it's
which is great to see, isn't it?
Well, it's funny because of obviously what happened with all the quotes with Hackett, where when those all came out, I'm thinking, all right, you know what? He shouldn't have said it, but he was right.
Yeah,
It was one of the worst coaching jobs that we've ever seen, and this team is worse.
Yeah.
At least that team last year had a great defense.
Yeah.
The defense stinks now. Russell Wilson still stinks. It is a big number for a divisional game on a short week with Travis Kelce banged up.
Yeah.
But it is hard to want to bet the Broncos,
I know.
even getting 10.5. I don't want to lay it with KC. This will probably be one of those I just stay off of. And if there's an opportunity in game, maybe fire away.
Yeah, there you go. All right. The Broncos, I mean, and by the way, Sean Payton, I mean, people are loving seeing him do, I mean,
yes.
Because, right? I mean, then you got like Bounty Gate or whatever. He had to miss a year. And he's such an egomaniac. And I had said that when he walked into Soldier Field, do they still call it Soldier Field?
Yes, it still is.
It's not sponsored by the Billy Goat there in Chicago, the cheeseburger place. Anyway, when he walked in, Sean Payton saw all these people wearing Payton jerseys. He's like, yeah, I got a lot of fans here. And someone had to whisper, that's Walter Payton. Those aren't for you, dummy. But yeah, that's a big line, man. Now, I don't have to sweat this week. I actually like the Steelers bye week right now. I'm actually happy the Steelers.
Oh, you like Pittsburgh versus the bye? They're
good.
only a 3-point favorite in that match.
They'll win 2-0. It'll probably be a safety by the TJ Watt will do something, Matt. He'll strip the bye week and he'll get a safety. Maybe Highsmith comes in. I need a week off from this team. I really do. I'm tired of just sweating these games out for 2.5, 3 hours, and then we win. This is so typical of our team the last few years. And I don't know if you saw this, but at the Penguins game, they were chanting "Fire Canada."
I saw it. Yeah.
I mean, that's where it originated because they wanted to fire Hextall last year, I believe. But the Steelers are off, so I'm good. I need a week off before they play the Rams. So I haven't even looked at the sheet yet in depth because the Steelers aren't playing. So there was a couple games. What games jump out at you? Anything you see a lot of movement on, or anything you really like?
Well, let's start with the game here. Let's start with the game here. It's a horrible game.
Yeah,
a horrible game because the Patriots. I mean, they look like they did before I was really paying attention. Like they look like when you were
Steve Grogan, Tony Eason
Yeah,
days.
I mean, it is really bad for New England right now.
Which, by the way, again, I'm okay with. I mean,
I had no problem with
watching
that.
them beat the Steelers in AFC Championship games a lot. And yes, they cheated. All right, don't even talk about it. But anyway, I mean, look, 2 games in a row. I mean, what, they got shut out last week?
So shut out last week, 3 against Dallas.
I'm laughing.
Their only win is against the Jets because Belichick owns the Jets.
He owns the Jets, man. He owns
15 straight now in that rivalry.
15?
15 in a row now. Yeah,
and I know you know.
I was at the last time the Jets beat them.
Is that right?
It was Week 16 in 2015. It was your guy Ryan Fitzpatrick playing
Fitzmagic.
for the Jets, and the Jets game got to overtime. Jets won the coin toss, went right down, scored a touchdown, and that was that.
Wow.
And then that was false hope for 1 week because the Jets had to win in Buffalo Week 17 to get in the playoffs, and of course they lost.
Oh, man.
So a lot of fun with that one.
All right, let's talk about the game. Like you said, is here.
I will say this. Frank, Josh McDaniels.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this guy
Yes,
for a
please.
second. Because the last 2 home games the Raiders have had, Josh McDaniels kicked a field goal down by 8 to get it to 5 to never see the ball back and a realistic chance to win the game. He got it back with under 30 seconds.
Right.
Garoppolo threw a pick. They have no timeouts. You're not going 75 yards against Pittsburgh's defense with no timeouts. And then on Monday, he got away with it. But kicking that field goal was so bad. It's the only thing you can't do in that spot. With Green Bay only having 1 timeout and under 2 minutes to go, you either go for it,
right?
And if you don't get it, all right, you rely on your defense, 65, make Jordan Love go 65 yards, fine. Or the analytics even said punting was better than kicking the field goal, which is kind of amazing to just show how bad of a decision to go from 4 to 7 was. Carlson misses the kick. All right, great. Guess what? He only has to go 55 yards now. Granted, Love threw the interception, didn't matter. But it is amazing that some of these NFL head coaches and college coaches, for sure, even have jobs because they can't do simple mathematics
Aren't
like
there
this.
charts?
Yes, there should be.
They have charts.
Yeah, it's not hard.
In their ear
It's not
going,
hard.
go, stop, go, kick.
But for this one, I do like the Raiders. I think New England is just so done at this point.
Yeah.
And this went from 3 to 3.5 back to 3.
It's 3.
It's. Right. I think it's going to stay there. We could touch 3.5 again. I wonder what Vinny will have to say tomorrow on Sports by the Book.
Yes.
But I like the Raiders. I think this is the end for New England. This is the end. This is what it is. It's all over for them. And you're gonna have a very interesting decision on their hands, Rob, for Robert Kraft at the end of the year. Do you say, all right, it's time?
Yeah.
You let the legend go, or do you say, all right, Bill, you got 1 crack at a rebuild, you got 2 more years, and that's that?
Well, I mean, how many wins could you see them winning? And I mean, they could be in the Drake May or Drake May or Derek May.
Drake May out of UNC. Yep.
Drake May. I mean, Penix is unbelievable. There's some quarterbacks.
Caleb Williams, of course.
Yeah, I mean, Caleb. Well, Caleb's going to go. Well, could they finish with the worst record?
I think they could.
I mean, is Belichick that savvy that he's like, well, maybe this is a good reason to pick the Raiders? Is Belichick such a genius that he's going to tank? Because there's a lot of good quarterbacks. Because Mac Jones ain't it right now for them.
Well, all I can tell you is, Frank, just the Jet fan in me is fully expecting New England to go 2-15 with 2 wins over the Jets this year. That's fully what I'm expecting for this year. But yeah, I wouldn't be shocked, and they'll be in the mix. They are clearly one of the 5 worst teams in the league.
Yeah.
Carolina, remember, doesn't even have their pick. It goes to Ryan's Bears.
It goes to the Bears.
And
could you imagine that?
The Bears will have an interesting decision on their hands with Justin Fields, who has shown a lot more the last 2 weeks. But if Caleb Williams is sitting there, it's tough to pass it up.
And maybe they get Marvin Harrison Jr. as well.
I mean,
if
that's
they go
the thing.
1-2, right? Ryan, is that be your
that
dream?
builds the offer. So if we get 1 and we want to build around Justin Fields, that helps the value that we get back for anybody that wants to trade for Caleb Williams. And I would love to team him up with Marvin Harrison Jr. That plus DJ Moore would be disgusting, but we'll see how it goes.
Hey, for you kid, that's the kid speak of saying something's good.
That's good. That's very good.
That means it's
very good,
right? It's fat.
But
yes.
Holler! I'm so down.
But Frank, I was texting with a good friend of mine last week when it looked like the Bears were bottoming out and Carolina's clearly one of the worst teams.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good way to jumpstart your rebuild. Caleb Williams at 1, Marvin Harrison at 2, when the Bears and the Panthers were holding 1 and 2. Still could end up that way very easily.
Look at the smile on his face.
I don't know. If we can't protect the quarterback, it won't make any difference who's back there.
You got to protect the quarterback. That is true. And by the way, did you hear his fantasy? What was your fantasy receivers last week?
DJ Moore, Jamar Chase, George Kittle. 9
I hope you won.
From 3.
I hope you won.
How many points from the 3 of them?
Well, so there was 9 touchdowns, and there was probably about 140 points, 150.
54 on touchdowns alone.
Yeah,
That's
right.
pretty good,
I know,
Frank.
right? Exactly. That's like record. That might be a league record, right?
Should be.
By the way, I just want to point this out, and some of my friends who are watching know this. I retired from fantasy football about 5 years ago.
You know what? I'm giving you.
Yeah,
I retired.
I
couldn't do it
anymore.
I've said it for the last 5 years that this was my last year, and I inevitably get sucked into a league. And
I've been on that
it's not fun anymore.
bandwagon too.
It's not fun
It is
anymore.
it's stress all week. It's looking at a waiver line. It's looking at matchups. I would much rather come to the South Point Sportsbook right here, put some money on a game that's over in 2.5 to 3 hours, and then gloat about that. I just can't do the fantasy football. It's just too nerve-wracking. It's too nerve-wracking for me. I'm too obsessive about it. So I'm glad we agree on that, Jeff.
Oh, 100%.
And Jeff, to close out here, anything jump out? Any one more game you want to talk about? Cowboys-Chargers on Monday night?
So I think this is a good bounce back for Dallas.
Yeah.
The Chargers are coming off a bye. I don't know what Herbert's finger is going to look like.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
he was in
know.
a splint. And by the end of that Raider game,
Right.
it thankfully for him, not his throwing hand.
Yeah.
But this is a good little bounce back spot
Yeah.
for Dallas, because if Dallas was competitive last week, I think this would have been a full 3,
Right.
even on the road.
Yeah.
Granted, on the road in quotes, we remember what happened the first time Dallas went to SoFi to play the Chargers. It was a Dallas home game
Yeah.
that day
A lot
2
of
years
teams
ago.
have home games in SoFi.
So I think this is a good Dallas bounce back. And Brandon Staley, I loved Brandon Staley when he came in. You know what? This guy is sticking to his guns.
Yep.
I like the fourth down thing. You're going by the math. Fine. At least you're consistent.
chart.
You're consistent. And then he listened to the talking heads, and he has totally turtled.
Yeah.
And now he doesn't know what to do in what circumstance and what's right and what's wrong. And that is a very bad spot to
It
be.
really is.
So I do like I do like the Dallas Cowboys on Monday night. I think it is a good bounce back spot after getting their behinds handed to them by San Francisco.
I love it. Listen, you are not going to find somebody more prepared and knowing lines more about football than that guy right there, Jeff Parles. Jeff, you can watch him, Sports by the Book. You have a show. Oh, no, you're off today.
I'm off today.
He's
Yeah,
off today.
yeah.
He came in on his day off to help us out here on Punchline, so we really appreciate it. Jeff, thank you for everything. We're going to take a break and be back with a little wrap-up with Ryan and I, and I'm going to rip this jersey or sweater off and reveal my Pittsburgh shirt underneath because this has been painful to look at the monitor and see me in a Chicago Blackhawks jersey. I can't believe this. All right,
Best sweater
Jeff,
in
thank
hockey.
you again.
You
What was
got it.
that, Ryan?
I said best sweater in hockey.
Whatever. We'll be right back. Maybe it's Steak and Shake. I don't know what it is, but take a look.
South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in a paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really
you like
want to
Stroh's
escape,
Raiders?
come to Spa Costa del
Stroh's Raiders
Sol.
Cowboys?
From couple suites
Stroh's
to a
Raiders
co-ed
Cowboys?
wet area,
Everything you
our
like?
spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world. Our gaming amenities include over 60 table games and over 2,600 of the most popular slot and video poker machines. We have penny slots, including the popular Buffalo games, and real machines like Wheel of Fortune, Triple Sevens, and Megabucks. If you prefer video poker, try Deuces Wild, Double Double Bonus, or a variety of multi-denomination games. Or try your hand at one of the most popular casino table games in the world, Blackjack. Don't let the game intimidate you. Blackjack, also known as 21, is both easy and fun. And our dealers are always happy to assist. And the best part? Blackjack always pays 3 to 2. Next, check out the roulette tables. Roulette is one of the easiest casino games to learn, and so much fun to play. It's a favorite of both beginners and seasoned players. In addition to blackjack and roulette, our casino pit features over 60 popular table games like Baccarat, Pai Gow Poker, 3-Card Poker, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and Mississippi Stud. So get out of your room and come join in the fun.
That kind of sounds like a Creed hook. Can you take me higher? You can sing Creed to anything. You can sing higher to anything. I can't believe Jeff stopped by. Jeff is that guy is a machine. You guys know, you probably see me. By the way, most people, he's a young kid. He likes to have the laptop here. No, I go old school, pen and paper, baby. And then I have take notes. I have all Frank's takes written down. And then my Jeff page, if you can see that, it says Jeff and it's blank, because I know he's going to come in and know everything. And these kids today with their computers. So a few minutes left in the show. What a great show. Thank you to Joe Bartnick for coming in. You guys, he gave out his YouTube special you can watch for free. He's a very funny guy. He's from Pittsburgh. Of course he's funny. And he gave us some great picks. And let's talk about some of those picks Joe had. He thinks Colorado would win the Stanley Cup, but he thinks Dallas. There's value on Dallas at 15-2.
Yep. So he likes a couple different teams, season total overs. So he likes the Buffalo Sabres over 93.5 points.
Yeah.
The Tampa Bay Lightning over 96.5. And then he also liked the Blackhawks over 71.5.
Now I like the because I can root for Buffalo. Like he said, Buffalo's like a 3-hour drive from Pittsburgh. Cleveland's a 2-hour drive. We hate Cleveland. We hate all Cleveland. We hate the Browns. I don't really hate the Indians or Guardians. Sorry. And basketball, I really didn't grow up caring about. So go Cavaliers. But I hate the Browns. But Buffalo, I've never been against the Bills or the Sabres. And I've been to games in Buffalo where the coldest I've ever been in my life was sitting in Rich Stadium where I think I had frostbite. I might still have frostbite. So I don't mind rooting for Buffalo. So I like that bet. I might take that 15-2. Why not? I mean, I'm going to root for the Penguins. Are they too old? Who knows? And also, did we have any other picks that Jeff gave out or?
Jeff gave out that he likes the Stros, and the Phillies.
He likes the Stros and Phillies, and he liked the over. I said I like the Phillies over 4.5. You know me, I'm weird. I take the props. I like the props. And then tonight, you know what else he liked? He didn't mind your Blackhawks tonight.
Yes.
Living on Adrenaline, plus 270. I think they're plus 270 right here at the fabulous Sportsbook right here at South Point, right here, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, I want to point out the Sportsbook here, why it's the best in Vegas. Here's your football, your baseball, your basketball, your hockey. We have a separate section for the horses, right? That's amazing. No other sportsbook in town does that because there's nothing worse than watching a game and you got some guy back here going, come on with the 2-horse. Come on with the 2. Get to the rail. Now, you don't want that. You come to South Point, we put the horse guys over there and women. Horse guys and women over here. Here, we do the real sports. I do like horse racing. It's the sport of kings, I believe it's called. So in closing, tomorrow I want to mention we have Craig Shoemaker. Craig is one of the funniest stand-ups in the world. I've known Craig for years. He is a Philly guy like I'm a Pittsburgh guy. So I'm going to wear a green shirt possibly, which will also make my eyes pop. I really pop in green, like a dark green. It's my color. Anyway, Craig will be here tomorrow. Craig will be talking Phillies. He'll be talking hopefully a victory for the Phillies tonight for him. He talks the Eagles. He's friends with a lot of these guys. He has pictures on his Instagram page where he knows everybody. And we'll also talk about the Flyers. I hate the Flyers, but I do love their mascot, Gritty, because he just looks like the weirdest looking. If you don't know about Gritty, we'll talk about Gritty tomorrow. Maybe I'll even have a fast take on Gritty on mascots, but he's just the weirdest looking mascot on the planet.
Yeah, those fuzzy mascots, Gritty, and what's the Philly Fanatic?
Philly Fanatic's funny, but Gritty, like who?
Blooper in Atlanta.
Yeah,
those fuzzy mascots.
You don't like
just
what about the Pirate Parrot?
It's the Pirates.
Wow. What do the Cubs have? Do the Cubs even have a mascot?
Yeah, they've got Clark the Cub. That's
put a lot of time into that one.
Cub.
It's because Clark Street, right?
Yep.
By the way, you know the 7th inning stretch where they have celebs come in and sing. I actually got to do that. I might not be the biggest celeb in the world, but when I was doing Street Smarts and we were in Chicago, I got to sing the national anthem and then do a half inning of play-by-play. There's video of it somewhere. Perhaps I shall find it someday.
Did you do the Harry Carey, let's get some runs?
They make you say that at the end.
They make you say it?
They do. And then they give you a hat that says 7th inning stretch.
Okay.
Which is really cool. And then the next day in the paper, a guy I was reading talking about the game. He goes, yeah, and then some guy that nobody knew in my section sang. And I went, So I wrote the guy an email. I said, hey, I host the show Street Smarts, our #1 market, Chicago. He goes, why didn't they use that in your intro? He goes, I love you. I love your show. And I said, yeah. He goes, yeah, we didn't know who you were. And I'm like, well, man, I should have been Street Smarts at Frank Nicotero. Instead, nowadays, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not living on past glory. I'm living on punch lines with Frank Nicotero. We appreciate you guys watching the show. Any final thoughts, Ryan, our producer?
You look great in that Blackhawks jersey.
It's coming off. This is how we close the show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm taking it off to reveal. And by the way, you're like, holy crap, he's really short. All right, yeah, that chair. We have this chair jacked up all the way. Look at that. Let me just pumping it. Who needs to go to the gym today? Not this guy. All right, I'm back to Pittsburgh, and I will be back here tomorrow at noon with Craig Shoemaker. And, Vinny's stopping in too, right? We got Vinny. So thank you for watching Punchlines. Please do me a favor. Subscribe, and live comments. Tomorrow, if you leave a live comment, we'll give you a shout out tomorrow. Did we have any live comments today?
We had a ton of live
We
comments.
had a ton of them?
Yep.
Oh my God. Anyone real
stacking.
quick we want to sneak in? Did my mom tell me to sit up straight? Give us one. Hit us with one as we go out.
Someone said the White Sox won the World Series.
The White Sox won the world. When? What? Yeah, they did like in 2005 or 6 or something. Okay, yeah, go Sox. Chi Sox. There you go. All right.
Matt Houston shout out.
Yeah, so Matt from who?
B-Town Dummy.
Yep, that's the guy I said who I watched Matt Houston with. Christian Hansen, thank you for all your help today. All right, that's it. We'll see you tomorrow. Shout outs tomorrow. So live comments, share. We appreciate it. See ya. Punchlines, Frank Nicotero. Can I throw this?
No.
Okay, all right. You won. Oh, February 15th, matchup in Chicago, Penn.